Shalawam, shalawam. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Bahasham, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone and salutation to all you sincere Akiam. And it's no longer news that the abortion law in Babylon the Great has been overturned, rather overruled, okay? And the law was called Roe v. Wade, because like we already know, Esau being a master of semantics, he will never say what something really is and instead give it a different name in order to hide, what it's actually going into, which is basically a form of legalizing murder and child sacrifice, passing your child through the fire to Molech, which is exactly what this Roe v. Wade actually is, okay? But it's no longer big news. Brothers have done their videos on it, and I had a excellent video I wanted to actually go into speaking about this situation right here. But unfortunately, I did not write it down, and I completely forgot about it when I was getting ready to do the lesson. So instead, I'm going to go into something else. What I did is I went on Twitter, just typed in hashtag Roe v. Wade, Roe versus Wade, because right now this topic is trending when you see. And the funny thing is that you would think that majority of the people would be against, these abortion laws because of what it entails in killing an unborn child. Okay, but here you have, women, men, is companies, okay, or rather I should say, I don't know, they're forgetting the term, but companies speaking against the ruling, okay, and talking about how this is a setback against women, healthcare, so on and so forth. But instead, let's get this preset. I just wanted to use this to paste at the front of the video so I can understand what this video is actually going into a little bit, because I had a few words concerning this abortion, but I didn't want to make it an independent video because this isn't really something worth going into, okay? When we talk about this truth, we talk about being men of the Lord. What we deal with, what we deal in is prophecy, okay? And of course, Roe v. Wade is prophecy because it's actually in the scriptures that things like this would happen. I believe that is Romans, the first chapter, and the woman would change their natural use to that which is against nature, and the men and women burning in their lust doing that which is unseemly. And one of the things that he's speaking about, and you know what, let's start with that. I want to get that precept because this is just showing you how accurate the scriptures are. Okay, because the things that these are, because when you go into abortion, this is something that is unspeakable. Okay, if you really want to talk about it, what these women are doing to themselves, what these women are doing to their children is unspeakable, like an unspeakable evil, man, something that you could not even imagine if somebody explained to you what was going on in detail, okay? And I think I did a video concerning this last year, okay, 2021, I believe, 42 million Planned Parenthood visits by these women, okay? That's 42 million bodies. And these were all done while the child was still in the womb, okay? So these women, their bodies are I'm thinking of the Boondocks. Crocker said the woman's body, and he was talking of the black woman, of course, which, of course, is still accurate at this point because we know that the majority of the abortions, okay, or the people that the abortions were targeting were those, quote unquote, black women, okay. The body of a woman is the temple of doom, right? And that's exactly what it has become. These women out here, especially in Babylon the Great, mainly in the West, okay, their bodies have become temples of doom, okay, graveyard for the multiple children they have put to death, okay, in them. So this is the book of Romans chapter 1, and I will start from Romans chapter 1 verse 26. For this cause the Most High Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai gave them up unto vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, bond in their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly, and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meat. Okay. and of course changing the natural use of the woman, which is, as the scriptures say, the woman will be saved in childbearing. Okay, so one of the functions of the woman is to bring forth seed, to bring forth a child. But now with this, you know, Roe v. Wade. I don't want to say abortion because I don't want you to start talking about that hate speech, because you know how these devils work, especially in the current time that we're in. Okay, when you talk about this situation right now, the Roe v. Wade hearing and the legalizing of the legislation of this Roe v. Wade, that is exactly what it is doing. Removing the natural use of the woman by convincing them that, and the main argument being, a clump of cells does not represent life, or rather, the unborn child does not represent life. Okay, and that is the main purpose of this video. For the title, as you can see, who is in control of the issues of death, and in brackets, and life. Okay, so let's start. So that's the first piece that I actually wanted to start with, but the spirit had me jump to the book of Romans in order to explain the prophecy that is that is Roe v. Wade, that is this whole abortion situation. And you can also go into the sacrifices that happen to Molech. Okay, how parents would pass their children through the fire for Molech. Okay, which of course is the same thing that is being done today in these abortion houses and Planned Parenthood. That is the new temple of Molech in Babylon the Great and in this world, because you go into research and you can research this. What you find out is that these elites, pardon me, what you find out is that, where is that do not disturb? Here it is. What you find out is that these elites, okay, these rulers of this world, the rulers of this world, okay, out of the, I've forgotten how that precept goes, but we battle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places, right? But the rulers of this world, the elites, your international money men, okay, that's what we're calling them from now on, okay, they they are involved in heavy Satan worship, heavy idol worship, all the abominations of the other nations, Chemosh, Ashtoreth, okay, Baal, Horus, Molech, okay, all these gods that the scriptures mention, Tammuz, they worship all of them, okay, and they perform and give sacrifices to them. That's why you have the Bohemian Grove. That's why you have Epstein Island. That's why you have, and there are various other places that's like this, going into this idol worship, going into human sacrifice, going into the witchcraft and the magic and these conjuring of demons, okay? And anybody that does their research, they can find this out, okay? And this is not even a conspiracy anymore. It's common knowledge right now. Everybody knows that the elites of this world are involved in some heavy satanic and in heavy satanism and idolatry. Okay, so now this is the book of Psalm 68, verse 20. He that is our power is the power of salvation. And unto the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, the Lord, belong the issues from death. Okay, so let me get this word salvation, because when it talks about the issues from death, it's also speaking about life. Okay, so it's the Most High, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, that controls death and life. Okay, so here you have the word Ma Mawasha Aya or Mawashaya. It's like I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't really know where the what's what I'm looking for, the I forgot how they say it, but basically the links of the words, okay. But yeah, this is the ma, the wa, the sha, the I, and the ha, okay. Or you can just say yasha, yashai, or yashai, or hawashai, okay, because that's what it means to save in the Hebrew. It actually means hawashai. So I'm guessing that this word is ma washaya, mawashaya, okay, saving act deliverance, okay, in other words, delivering from death, but also is the God of life, okay, so he is the one that decides what is life and what isn't human life, okay. So the Most High Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai has already given, okay, or rather laid, or rather given the decree of what is life and what isn't. And an unborn fetus, okay, that is life. The seed is life, okay. And you people, you Edomites especially, because it's Esau Edom that is now, changing the covenants and the ordinances of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai by changing what it means to, what is classified as life and what isn't, by saying that an unborn child, it technically isn't alive, so it can be, removed if the mother does not want it. But that is going off according to the scriptures, okay? Okay, because some of the things I also wanted to mention, but let me first go into that precept, speaking about, I think it was mischief, right? Mischief. But I think I should start with mischief. I think I should start with, eye for an eye, life for a life. Okay, but let me just go to this one. So here it is, Exodus 21, verse 22. And this is basically the precept that proves that, an unborn child is still technically, is very much alive. Okay, not technically, but is very much alive. Exodus 21, verse 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. So basically, if a woman is with child, okay, and two men are fighting each other, and something happens, like say, you're trying to throw a brick at the other dude, and he dodges it and he hits a woman that is pregnant, and he falls on her belly, okay. If the child is still alright, you still have to pay money to the man's wife, okay, for hurting his woman, in other words, his property. Because you have to recompense that, because a woman is property. That's another thing we have to go into as well. These women out here talking about abortion being health, abortion being a woman's right, okay. I've forgotten what abortion, the baby being a part of their body. They'll say so many things in order to justify this wickedness, okay. A woman, a woman talking about a woman's reproductive rights. Well, here is a controversial take, okay? Something that I will say that I will get a lot of people whose Jimmy is rusted, Something that I think Russell is like, that's the word. Something that I will say that I will get a lot of people hurt, but hurt, all in their feelings. But the only reproductive rights a woman has is to safely deliver their child, okay? And even that is by the decree, or according to the will of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. So, if you really think about it, I don't really want to say you don't have any reproductive rights, because you do, okay? And that is the safe delivery. And even that is, or that belongs to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, because he's one that opens the womb, he's one that closes the womb, right? He's one that gives a woman, he's one that he's one that gives the woman the fruit of the womb, okay, in order for her to be, what's what I'm looking for right now, in order for her to be fruitful and to bring forth children. Now, continuing on, Exodus 21, verse 22. And if any mischief follow, then thou shalt give life for life. So basically, if it happens that the child becomes dead or miscarried, the man that did it must also be put to death as well, okay? And that's where you get the precept, Exodus 21, verse 24. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe, okay? So basically, so basically, that anything that you sow, you shall also reap. But now here you have women performing this mischief upon themselves, okay? And there's a lot of things you can say about this whole thing, but I'm not really going to say it, because everything that should be said has already been said, okay? So yeah, when this whole situation happened where the Roe v. Wade was overturned, only Babylon the Great, of course, and it wasn't really overturned. So this isn't really a victory, but rather it stopped being a federal law. So now the states can choose whether to enforce them or not. And multiple states have already, already like illegalized it to an extent, okay. But now they have the full right to completely illegalize it, okay. Which of course we should already understand, okay, that this is not a victory or anything to be happy or glad about, because no matter what happens in this kingdom, no matter what law that Esau, that's the main point I actually wanted to bring out. And brothers already know this because nobody in the truth is actually celebrating, Roe v. Wade being overturned, okay? Nobody is celebrating this. Nobody is happy about this. Hell, nobody in this truth even really cares. We just did a video just to brother just did a video just to go into it because this is a major news. This is major news right now. So that people that have any questions concerning what the scriptures say about abortion, what the scriptures say about this situation, can have an answer to that. But the truth of the matter is, we honestly, in the grand scheme of things, this whole thing doesn't mean anything. It doesn't change prophecy. It doesn't change what is going to happen. You know, and that is why, the first precept that came to my mind when I saw this is, let me get that. I think that's Isaiah 57. But Babylon is not healed, because this is the only country right now. Babylon the Great is the only country that had ever legalized abortion in the first place. And that's another thing right there. There wouldn't be a need to overturn or to remove this law if it wasn't put in the first place. They should never have been signed into law. Okay, that's the first thing that's I have, that actually bothered me the most. This should have never been signed into law. There's some laws that should have never been there in the first place, because if you go into the scriptures, you go into what is written in the scriptures, you should already know that this is off, okay, according to the laws, okay. But here you have this law being put into place and being, upheld for over 60 years. And then suddenly repeal the law for whatever reason they actually want to do it. And I have another precept to go into, but I will start with this one first. So this is the book of Jeremiah 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up to the skies, even to the skies. And that's right. Basically, Roe v. Wade is overturned, but Babylon is not healed. Okay. So in other words, you see Esau out of nowhere. Okay. Not well. I won't really say that he's actually, pushing a righteous decree, because in all actuality, if you really want to go deep into it, he's not really doing that. He's just giving each state the option to push for, you know, the option to choose whether they want to uphold the Roe v. Wade and abortion laws, or legalize abortion or not. That's basically all Esau Edom is doing. The government is basically, washing their hands of it and just giving the state a choice to do it. So that doesn't really count as, illegalizing abortion, as much as everybody online wants you to believe that, oh, this is evil, oh, this is this is that. In all actuality, it doesn't. In all actuality, it changes nothing. Okay. But the next thing I want to get is that, this is the devil we're talking about. Okay. Out of his mouth has come no good thing, because even the scripture says that if he does good, he doeth it unwillingly. Okay. Here it is. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 7. It's like Ecclesiasticus 14, and I'll start from verse 5. He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And that's right, because you clearly see from the way Esau Edom treats his own people, okay, the wickedness that he has done to his own people, to show you that these devils, they have no good in their hearts. But this is the main point right now. Ecclesiasticus 14, verse 7. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. And that's right. These devils don't do good for the sake of doing good, or rather, they don't do good for the sake of it being righteous, but either they do it unwillingly, they are forced to do it, or they have an ulterior motive. Okay, so whenever Esau Edom does things like this, we're all giving him the side eye. Okay, like what's next? Watching it and seeing, waiting to see or to hear what happens next, and we know that that's when you realize that, oh well, this is actually what he was going after. He just made that righteous decree just for this. Okay, in order to push this wicked decree, because that's all that is actually happening with this. This whole you know overturning of the abortion ruling. It wouldn't surprise me if Esau Edom comes out and says that anybody that takes the charagma, they can happily or legally perform the what, right? That wouldn't surprise me at all. It might be another step towards his NWO, or towards the Great Reset, and you never know, because we never because these devils don't do good purposely. Okay, but anyway, what I was going to go into, I think that should be the book of First Samuel. I form light and create darkness, and no, that's not what I'm looking for. I've forgotten the precept, but basically, I kill and I make alive. That's it. I kill. That should be the book of Isaiah. I think it's either the third chapter. I've forgotten the exact precept. So I'll just type it in the you know, okay, okay. That's Deuteronomy. But the one I was looking for is in the book of First Samuel. So this is the book of First Samuel 2 verse 6. Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Yahweh maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Okay. And this is what we are speaking about in this video. Basically, the Most High is the one that has control over the issues of both death and life. He is the one that decides what is considered life, what is counted as life, especially human life, and not humans themselves, or not you people out here. Okay, Esau Edom does not get to decide what is life. Esau Edom does not get to decide, when a human becomes alive. Okay, but rather it's the Most High that makes that decision, and the decision is already clear. Once the woman has conceived the seed, in other words, once the seed has, how does it go again? Um, you know, Once the seed has entered into the woman, and and fertilized the egg, that is life. It is already alive. It is already a living soul. So that is, once again, it's life. That's all that really needs to be said. So I think I'm just going to end the video right here. I wanted to get a few more precepts going into the Most High being in control of life. Okay, but let me just end it right there. So with that, all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Bahasham Racha Kwadash, Wa Abad Babal, Shalawam.